All right. Well, preseason is underway. We have seen a preseason game, but we're about to see a lot more. So, this is going to be my top 10 things I am most excited about for the preseason. I have a couple of honorable mentions, so going to get through those right away. Listen, I like the preseason, all right? You don't watch every snap of every game, but you watch the exciting stuff. Some of the things that were on my honorable mentions that I did not include are, Carson Wentz, how will he fit in with a new team? Basically, just the honorable mentions were all that. It was all quarterbacks on new teams or just that we haven't seen in a while, like Matt Ryan with the Colts, Russell Wilson with the Broncos, or Jameis Winston still with the Saints, but, we didn't see him last year. So, or we saw him for a few games, but we haven't seen him in a while. So that's one of the things that I'm, excited about and interested in seeing how it goes. But now let's get into the top 10 things I'm most excited about heading into this preseason. Number 10, the greatest dynasty in sports is the Ravens preseason dynasty. They have won 20 straight preseason games, which is, I don't know. I can't figure out why they've done it. They are a great franchise who does a lot of good stuff, so it makes sense that they would have had success, but 20 straight is insane. So the fact that they've been able to pull this off, very fascinating. So that'll be interesting. If they have a close game late in a preseason game, I'll be interested in seeing that. Number 9, Davante Adams working with Derek Carr. So we've seen this before in college, but we haven't seen it since then, and I'm fascinated in seeing how well will they be able to play together now that, they're much better players than they were in college because they were both second-round picks in college. Now, Derek Carr is making $40 million, and many believe Adams is the best wide receiver in football. Who knows if we'll see it? Because again, this is one of those preseason, like sometimes, Derek Carr might not play at all for all we know. So I would imagine Josh McDaniels will play his starters to some degree, but hopefully we'll get to see some snaps there. And if we do, I'm very fascinated in just taking a look at how they work together, all that good stuff. I'm sure it'll play well, but I'm interested in seeing it. More interested in seeing it in the regular season, but that's the case of all this stuff. For the preseason, I'm still interested in it. Number 8, I'm still very fascinated in Jordan Love and what he brings to the Green Bay Packers. Is Jordan Love going to have another good preseason? I think last preseason he was kind of up and down. I'm fascinated in seeing that. That's just something that's interesting to me because he's meant so much to the Aaron Rodgers kind of spectacle these past several years since he was drafted, but we haven't seen him actually play any NFL football since he was drafted. Again, outside of a couple of games here and there. So that's why I'm interested in it. The more snaps we can see of Jordan Love, the more interested I am of seeing Jordan Love, but yeah, he's definitely someone who, anytime we can see him, I'm fascinated, and this is what's cool about preseason, is we get to actually see him. In the regular season, we got to see a little bit of him, but not much. Number 7, putting a couple guys together, going to do this a couple of times on this list, Kellen Mond / Kyle Trask. These are two guys who were, Trask was a second-round pick that the Buccaneers drafted when they were defending Super Bowl champions, trying to win again. They still drafted a quarterback because they liked him, who's been the third-string quarterback now. So that's kind of an interesting decision. Also, Kellen Mond, who was drafted to be a backup, who a lot of people really liked him. I really liked him coming out of college. Chris Sims famously really liked him. So he didn't have a great preseason last year, and then threw 3 passes in the regular season, one of which was intercepted. So, and also Mike Zimmer hated Kellen Mond. So because of that, I'm just interested in seeing with both of these guys, clearly teams liked you when you were drafted. What's going on here? What's happening? Where are we at? That's kind of the question. But they're both definitely good. At least good as in interesting. I don't know if they're both good, but they're both interesting things to talk about. Number 6, Tyreek Hill / Tua. The Tyreek Hill to Tua combination is a fascinating one. The reason why it's so much higher than the Davante Adams, Derek Carr thing is because I'm pretty sure that's going to work. With the Tua stuff, it's like, how are we going to see Tyreek Hill? I think we'll see him in more of a, Tyreek Hill is going to be more of a Deebo Samuel now, not in terms of how he, runs the football as well, but just in terms of how he, in the receiving game. But a lot has been talked about how Tua isn't known for his arm strength, which is fair. And Tyreek Hill is known for his speed. So you feel like those combinations, are you losing out on that deep threat stuff with Tua? I don't know, but I do find it very fascinating. So just seeing it in preseason, that's going to be something interesting to watch. Another interesting thing to watch is, will we see some improvement from Lawrence, Wilson, and Fields? These are three guys that we saw a lot of in the regular season. They weren't not all of them came in to be day one starters. Fields did not, but he eventually became the starting quarterback. He got the most playing time out of any of the Bears quarterbacks last season. And Wilson and Lawrence were just the starters when they were healthy. So I think the one thing they all have in common is none of them played great last year. So the fascinating thing is, will we see them play better in the preseason? Which, I remember Zach Wilson had like one of the best preseason performances of all time last season. It didn't translate too much to the NFL. So how much can we really take away from this stuff? Maybe nothing. I don't know. It's tough, but I'm fascinated by it. And what we can take away potentially is, like, if we see Zach Wilson have a situation where there's a quick pressure and he gets rid of the ball quickly and just like throws it away or something, because we didn't see that too much last year. Stuff like that I'd be interested in. If Justin Fields starts giving up on plays more, that's something I'd be fascinated by. If Lawrence doesn't take any sacks when he has the ball for a while, that kind of stuff, improving on your weaknesses would be fascinating to see. We'll see if they do it. Number 4, Aiden Hutchinson / Kayvon Thibodeaux, who, listen, every rookie, every hyped up rookie is fascinating. I'm going to be making videos about all these first round rookies probably this preseason, but I definitely think probably a couple of the headliners. I have one other one that I'm going to talk about very next on my list, but I think Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux are guys who I'm fascinated by. They're very well hyped up. Hutchinson, many thought should have gone first overall. Some thought Thibodeaux should have gone first overall. And what they kind of have going for them, or what people have said about them, is that they should be great day one starters. And so because of that, you kind of want to see them in the preseason be able to be effective right away. That's what you're hoping to see out of them. So because of that, I think that Hutchinson and Thibodeaux should be able to be effective, but it'll be fun to watch, certainly. But as I teased it, Travon Walker, of course, number 3, who had a good preseason game against, Brandon Parker, who isn't known for being a superstar for the Raiders, but still, he's an NFL starting tackle, and Travon Walker, I thought, played very well. I know PFF did not grade out his game to be spectacular. I thought it was I thought he showed some nice things in that game personally, but I'm interested in seeing more playing time with him, seeing more reps, and seeing if this is actually who he is. Can he just bulldoze over people, or is that not really who he is? I don't know, but do I find it fascinating? Yes, I'm definitely going to be watching every snap, probably live if I can, because sometimes life gets in the way, but if not, my job is covering football, so I try to make sure it doesn't, and I'm going to be trying to watch as many snaps as I can of him. I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen there. To me, number 2 is Trey Lance, who we saw in the preseason last year, and he was inconsistent last preseason. He did not have a great preseason, and there was definitive flaws in his game that we saw, specifically putting the touch on a pass. That was a big flaw. I remember 49ers fans were not happy when I pointed out some of his negatives, but he also had some positives. And for a guy who, again, didn't see a ton of his first season, but now we're going to see him start for a team that was in the NFC Championship game last year. That's super fascinating, and he is certainly someone who I want to see how he does this preseason. I'm still going to value how he did in the regular season last year more, but he has a year to improve as well. So that's why I separated him from kind of the other young quarterbacks, and also I didn't include Mac Jones because he's already good. So whatever. That's not less interesting now because he's good. But for Lance, who is up and down a little bit, very fascinated. But number 1, of course, is number 1 every year, the rookie quarterbacks. That's just interesting to me. It's interesting seeing these rookie quarterbacks, how they play in their first game. These are always the ones that get the most views as well. So I know those are the ones that you are most interested in. Typically, what will we see from a Kenny Pickett coming out with Pittsburgh, or even some of these guys who aren't necessarily going to be starters right away? Sam Howell, Malik Willis, maybe Matt Corral will be, maybe he won't, probably he won't, you would assume. So, Desmond Ridder. So you have all these guys who I'm fascinated in seeing how they perform, how they come into the league and play right away. I could see it being, very interesting. And I'm fast. Is Malik Willis going to just be able to use his athleticism against, NFL backups potentially? Because he probably won't do it against starters, I would assume, unless, the Titans don't play Tannehill for any of the preseason or something like that. I don't know. But a lot of interesting storylines, and I'm very fascinated. So, I figured I could make this video, so if you are sort of someone who doesn't love preseason, maybe these are things to look out for into the preseason. Let me know, what else are you excited about heading into the preseason? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.